Today we are going to be looking at Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, and I got some foliage here. We have some, let's see, we won't look at flowers, we're looking at the green stuff, so the trees, the bushes, and this shrubbery here. I want to see if we can figure out why they do their things, and also I have on here some grass. So why don't we get into things? And I say that, but I'm not prepared. Let me get some tea. Okay, now I'm fully prepared. Saying that though, where do you think we should start? I'm thinking maybe our best bet would be to try to do a bush. So if I go to this guy here, I believe it's, no, well, it's kind of a 16 by 16. I think I messed around with it a little bit wrong. If I move this guy up here, possibly, is that, yeah, there we go. That's what this guy's supposed to be. So I'll go ahead and move you maybe about here. Yeah, that does look right, doesn't it? Good, okay. In that case, we'll zoom in a little bit here. I'll lower the opacity just a smidge, or nope, wrong guy to lower it on. And I want to see if we can figure out what this guy is doing. And to do that, I'm also going to do duplicate, and then, oops, we don't want you, we want you to be duplicated. Yep. And then I'm going to move him over, maybe a little bit more over. And I want to get a look at this, and oh, I'm just realizing, I'm thinking color mode. Grayscale would work for this, but I want to see, I think there is a way to do it without going to grayscale. Like if we just lower the saturation, that kind of works. That semi-works, I'd say. It looks a little different, but I think for what we're doing, it'll work fine. So I'll go and click on OK. So we have a regular version and then a non or low saturation version. And I think this will serve us well. So, and also this music's super loud. Hold on, let me do that. That's a little bit better. Okay, saying that, right? Let me go ahead, and what I'll do is I will make another layer back here, and then we'll fill this guy in, and it should make it a little bit easier to see. This guy is our gray background. This is our, let's see, gray shrub. There we go. And then we have on here, let's see, our shrub, S-H-R-U-B, shrub. There we go. Okay, and then I'll slide this guy up here, move you here and here. Okay, and then for our shrub, let me grab that green since it's the background colors. Grab you, and okay. I think that is about the gist of the shrub. And what are some things we notice off the bat? What I'm seeing, right, is that there's kind of this dark blob to begin with. And if I do something like this, I'm seeing a dark blob, and then I'm kind of seeing areas carved out, like different sections. I'm guessing these are the leaves portion. So for example, there's kind of like a leaf shape I'm seeing, something like that. Do you see the leaf shape? So then you take this blob, and let me see if I can copy you, paste it, move you over here. I will scroll out a little bit more. From this blob, what they seem to do is they take another color, so like another darker color, and then they start angling it out. So let's see, some angles here. Well, maybe we can make it, and the sizing doesn't seem to be too much. And actually, let me do this way I can have a better layer. Let's see, kind of have a shrub here, and I'm just eyeballing at the moment, seeing if I can get the feel. We kind of have another one up here that seems to not have a lot of space in between. So I'll make this guy a little bit bigger, maybe like that, and then maybe you can go there. And another guy kind of comes out here a little bit. So we'll do another one kind of coming out here, it seems like, with a point. And then there's also another guy coming out here. So really, you're just looking to get a lot of arrows, I'm guessing, out. And then these little guys here are short. So I'll also add some short guys down here that aren't too big. So maybe something like that. And then from there, let's see, well, that's shrubbery. I'm trying to keep track of what I'm doing. That way it makes it a little bit easier to see the different iterations. So I'll go and copy. I can copy, paste, slide you over. Actually, slide you over a little bit more to make it easier. Move you there, and then copy, paste you, and Control T, and then should just be able to slide you over up there. And also merge it down, and yep, that's good to go. Lovely. Okay, so from there, right, we kind of have, let's see, there's light here, dark here, and then it kind of gets formed. So there's gray here and here for the outer edges, But then there's also a bit of a tip. And I think that's where things get separated. So you have a black color here, and then you have a gray color, then you have this regular color, and then we have you. And you're about, let's say we can put you there. Well, hold on. You would go here. So then you would go here, and then grab you and put you there. There we go. That makes more sense for a palette. Kind of a forked tone, which is really interesting. Okay, so now we have these 4 guys, right? And from there, we kind of have to clean it up, it seems like. So, keeping in mind that this guy's our top and this guy seems to be our light color. Yeah, and then that's the highlight. So I'll use our medium guy here for a highlight. And I'll kind of go in and I'll do my best to figure out some better shaping. And it also seems to be the case that the highlight doesn't go all the way inside. So it might be something like that. And then let's see, carve off this guy a little bit. And I want to make my little guy pointy. So I'm going to stick with pointy. And then from there, let's see, grab this guy and I want to make him pointy over here too. So I'm gonna do something like that. I think can work. And again, we have to remember this guy would come in and I'm seeing this guy. So maybe you can pop up and kind of come out a little bit more. So maybe, tricky. Okay, we'll bring you in down here. Something like that I think can work. And then for here, we have another guy. Let's bring you up a bit. Add that here. All I'm trying to really go for right now is the feel of the idea. And maybe we have, let's see, you don't get a point on that guy. And also, this guy doesn't get a point. But points here and here. And then this guy kind of has a point. I'd say, well, no. Yeah, there we go. And then you'd kind of have a point that goes down. So then you might have this guy and then it kind of comes in. So we have this guy that's a for sure strand. We also have this guy that's another for sure strand. And then we have another guy, kind of another for sure strand. Let's see if I can. We're still keeping to this guy, right? And maybe we can do that color there. And again, the top of this guy is not too pointy. So I'll do like that. And then for these insides as well, they're going to be super dark. So let's see. You kind of come out a little bit. So I might make you come out like that. And then you need to be a little bit thicker so I can draw your insides. So something maybe here. Though I don't know about that guy there. I think this guy works. I quite like it. It kind of looks like that leaf. And then for this guy here, maybe we can make you a bit wider so we can get a little bit more of that leafy edge in there. Maybe something like that can work to show, hey, look, this leaf is pointing out. And maybe that's why that point exists, to show it's pointy. Maybe we can even do something like this to show it's pointy. And then we kind of have one final guy. So let's see. We're just making edges. And I think this guy could also use a bit of a touch up. So let's see here. We're adding you. And then maybe you can come out like that. I could see that working. Can we make you a little bit floppy like that guy? Where maybe, yeah, maybe like that. And then the top also gets lowered. But I feel like this can maybe go up a bit, like here. Yeah, I think this works. And then from there, let's see. We can go ahead and move you maybe down here. I'm not too opposed to that, truth be told. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and grab you. There we go, copy, paste, and then move you up. Oh, hold on. Down here. And let's continue refining, shall we? So now we know for certain, and it's a little bit hard to tell because I can't see. So I'll just grab our gray shrub and move them down, make it really easy to see. And what we're noticing here is the black areas are in the center. So what I'll do is I'll grab our shrub again, or hold on, this shrub is our shrub. So let me also scroll down to make sure it's the gray shrub, merge down, and then from here, let's go ahead and grab that black and then fill that in. Oh yeah, I definitely think that helped. And then from there, we have the darker color on the centers, and then the tips get a little bit modified. I'm guessing this bottom bit is a little bit dark because it's also the shadow part. And then these tips are light because you're in the light. So let's go ahead and modify these guys a little bit, right? Because this guy's probably going to be a little bit dark. And then probably that guy's going to have a tip. And this guy, again, probably a little bit dark. That guy's probably going to have a tip, as well as this guy here. And then we have these guys. This seems fair, having that tip there. This guy, because it's in shadow. And then maybe, let's see. Well, I'm wondering, this guy has a little bit of darkness in him, which I'm not too opposed to. And then this guy, I kind of think maybe this guy's a little bit too tall. Like maybe we can shrink it down a little bit. Just a little bit. You don't have to be one more shrinking. I think that works. I like this a lot better. And then from there, let's see. Maybe we have you as the dark guy, and yeah, you need it to be modified. I want a more of a leafy feel. Like that feels like a leaf. Except you. This could be played off as a leaf. I see why they make that point outwards. Like if we do something like that, which is what they have, I can see the leaf. And then for here, let's see. If we were to maybe remove you and then have you come out like that, I feel like that could work. Maybe we have you come out here like that. And then maybe, no, you would kind of maybe come up a little bit. But this feels, everything's kind of pointing except for this, but I think it's okay. Maybe it would be more so like that. But then this guy would need to, maybe it can come out a little bit like that. And then maybe we can go down a little bit. I could see this working. Maybe we can crop off a little bit of these guys. I think that one can stay. It's got a little bit of volume. This guy down here, I also think it adds a little bit of volume. This is super flat though, which is interesting. So maybe we do more of this, and maybe we also push in this guy up by 1. And actually, I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, you know what? We're keeping you hanging. I like that. And then here, so we have light at the tips. Then we have light at the edges here. And I think that makes sense. It kind of works here. Light at the tips. I can kind of see what they're doing. This guy here, I'm not too sure about. If anything, maybe we can lower you down by 1. You know what? That does work. Yeah. We'll hold on. Copy you. Undo, undo, undo. Which one? I'm asking which one, but I can't really get an answer. But, maybe the left one's a little bit nicer. So I'll go ahead and copy you. And then, let's see. Let's keep going. Paste you down, move you down a little bit. And then from there, grab our shrub. And we're going to keep going. Oh, no, we need the gray shrub. Oh, gray background shrub. No, which is the shrub? Oh, no. I did too many merges. Let me grab you. New layer, paste, and grab you down here. Okay, so from there, right? Now we can kind of grab those dark colors that we were seeing before as the sort of centerpieces. So I'm going to grab these guys and see where we can add a bit of center. We don't want them to touch. That's very important that these center guys don't touch. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm trying to make sure, hey, look, we have some center edges here. And I think this can work out. And then this guy as well is a little bit dark. So the center gets a little bit dark. And then we have next up our highlights. So for example, that guy highlight. We have this guy's a highlight. Maybe that guy gets a highlight. That guy gets a highlight. Maybe this guy can get a highlight. And maybe that guy can get a highlight. But the highlights do feel a little bit too orderly. I can see here, right? There's a lot of different highlights. So maybe, you know what? Let's get a little bit crazy with the highlights. They don't have to be the same. Maybe that's a highlight. Maybe that's a highlight. And maybe, you know what? Maybe you can get a... Okay, maybe not. Let's not go too crazy. Yeah. Yeah. How about that? Okay. And then this guy here, I feel like maybe it has a little bit too many things going on. So maybe I can... Oh, maybe you also need to go back down to the proper layer you were. Shrub, gray shrub. There we are. Gray shrub. Gonna go ahead and now modify you. Oh, merge it down. I think that works out a little bit better. And then now we can kind of move this guy. Hold on, let's see. Down and over. Yeah, I like that a little bit more. It's more compressed. And I feel like that compression is a good thing. I do like it. However, you can notice, right? Mine kind of has a single line straight here. This guy doesn't really have a single straight line. So I'm wondering, is there a way I can modify it? But I don't think there is. Just because of the way I modified mine. Maybe we can do like that, right? Where it's not quite in the center there. And then maybe we can do... I think that might be it. Just because of the way I made it. Anything else? No. There's these edges down here, which I'm curious about why they're shading. Like maybe you would add a shading here and here, but I don't know why these guys, because you can you can clearly see the areas they're supposed to be, right? You have a leaf here, leaf, 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 and leaf. So I'm not sure. Maybe these are underleaves, like underneath leaf, underleaf, leaf, blah, 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 underneath. I could see that as being a thing. And if we're treating it as our underneath leaf, and let me go back to here, then maybe it could be the case of maybe kind of have that guy kind of coming out. Maybe you can kind of come down there, and then maybe you get down there. And I think that's the only underneath leaf we can get, which is fine. Now I want to see about adding the color back. So let's see. I'll grab our shrub, copy you, and let's see how it fares up against our attempt. Let's see. Copy. Go back to you. You here. And let's see. Shrub, go here. Oh, I expanded it a little bit too much. You go here. And then from there, right, you can go ahead and remove you. And this gray shrub right here. Yes, indeed you. Copy. Oh, copy. And then new layer, paste. Okay. Now we're going to merge you down. And we're also going to grab this gray shrub, since this was the reference shrub, and move you back up here to show us the reference. And then from there, moment of truth. Are you ready? So let's see. You are our shrub that goes in the gray shrubs. So merge you back down. And then from here we have you and you. Okay. Final shrub. Okay. So to begin, right, and let me make sure my continuous is continuous sync. There we go. Okay. So we have our dark green, which is this color here. Then we have our light green, and then we have our really light green, and then our highlight. Ooh, it does have a certain feel, but I feel like something is a little off. Like maybe theirs feels a little bit shinier, so to speak. And maybe it's because of what they're adding here. Maybe we can add a little bit more shine, but I don't know. I think for what it is, it can work for now. Maybe because my highlights are a little bit too bright. I'm seeing a lot of dark for theirs, not as much mine, which is interesting. If we go ahead and just copy my final shrub, right? Hide all of you guys and add the grass back. What do you think? Ooh, you know what? I could see it being in the game. Let's see, slide you up here. Yeah, it looks like it would fit right at home. It could also be because of the colors, but I think this is similar enough to this that I get the picture of having the ball and adding the leaves around. I can see what they're going for. Let's see. Do that there. Okay. And now, with all of that said, okay. I'm gonna try something new this time around. It wasn't a very long study. However, I want to give a go at seeing how maybe like the shorter ones, it'd be a little bit easier to get them out faster, but let me know, as I think these are the bite-sized idea, as I still want to do the trees. I still want to do the bushes. Those are things I want to do, but maybe doing it this way is a easier form to digest than the 2-hour ones or longer ones. But again, just let me know. Saying that though, thank you for joining me. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, or good night, and have a lovely one. Bye-bye. Hi, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and want to see more sooner, consider joining my Patreon for more studies just like this one. Not only do I offer videos, I also offer the files for my studies and anything you see on my streams too. Regardless though, I hope to see you super soon. Bye-bye!